So for chapter 13, I'm not going to cover inner classes and anonymous classes at this time. We're going to be using them, those of you who are doing the Android class, and I'll just talk about them then. So just for chapter 13, enumerations and documentation only. Maybe just to show you. So this is an example of a GUI, and we might have some time to do a GUI later, but I just didn't want to go into it right now.
I know you're not going to go over it, but what is it an inner class? Is it just a class that's declared?
It's a class within a class, pretty much. And it's commonly, the reason the GUI comes up here is because it's commonly used in GUI programming, including Android.
Can you instantiate the inner classes and other classes? Can you do it using the same as any other class?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, you can do that.
Okay.
Maybe I can go into it, but let me first do the other parts. Are you taking Android?
Yes.
Well, then we'll talk about it more then. And we'll see a lot more of it. Okay, so let's talk about the enumeration. Do you remember in the last class, we used the interface and then we had the admin, editorial staff, and marketing staff, and we declared them as constant inside the interface with of type int. And okay, but there is a difference in all the enumeration that allows us to do this. Enumeration or enum allows us to have, it's a type that we can only have so many subtypes. So the example here would be if I wanted to express the shipping types for my company, then I can declare it as an enumeration or enum. And what that means is it's not a variable in that it can't be anything. It's not only one term, it's three. So it's going to be three logically related shipping types in this case. So I can have next day, ground, or second day shipping. So that's a great example for using an enumeration. And we could have improved our program from last time if instead of using an int constants, we could have declared an enumeration instead. So how do you use an enumeration? Well, you can say it's a dot notation situation, so it's going to be shipping type dot. And then when you do this in Eclipse, you see a drop down that allows you to pick only from the available values of the enumeration. Okay, does this make sense? You declare an enumeration just like a class or a interface to the Java, to the Eclipse projects. And the enumeration behind the scenes is implemented with index 0. So the first enum is going to be 0, 1, and 2, but you can't necessarily refer to them as 0, 1, and 2. You need to refer to them by the name, or you're going to get it's a bad practice. I think actually it will give you a syntax error. There are methods that allow you to do this if you need to. Here.
Sure. Can you declare in the slide before that, where you have the three enumerations, can you assign values to them? And that way, when like in the next slide, where you're saying, if it's this, it equals this price. I mean, can you just declare that and then automatically use those numbers?
So these are the values of the enumeration of the next day, second day, and then what you can do is, I think exactly what you're referring to here is that then you associate the values in the enumeration with, for example, you don't associate it with a number, but you use it to express, if it's the next day, then this means that it's not really associated, though, I wouldn't call it that, right? It's more like you use it, exactly, right? So you can use it in the conditions. And so in the example here, we have a shipping amount, which takes a shipping amount method that takes an enum type. And then you can say if shipping amount is 20, if it's 10, and if second it's 5.99. So you associate the value based on the enumeration type. And then you return the amount. So how do you call this method? You're going to say, when you're calling it, you can say get shipping amount, and then here you say shipping type dot, I want the 2-day shipping. This is where you specify. And then because you said 2-day shipping, you're going to get $5.99 from the condition. But you can say, because the second day has an ordinal of 1, you can just say 1 here. So you just need to use the enum value, which is even better because it's more clear, right? There are a couple of methods that you can use with enum. So you can get the name of the enum constant, or you can get its ordinal value. So if you really wanted to use the integers, you could by using the ordinal value. So for example, here, if we have this shipping type, we can override the toString object, and then we can say if the ordinal, just a different way of doing it. If the ordinal is 0, then that means it's the next day shipping and so on. So just an alternative way of using enums. If the ordinal is 1, then this means it's the second day shipping, or you can say if the ordinal is 1, it's $5.99, right, and so on. And then you return the string. And again, you can call it here. And then if you say shipping type ground.toString, then it's going to use the toString to say 2-day shipping, because the enum overrides the toString from the object. And you can also use a static import that allows you to just say the name of the enum instead of the dot notation, but that's actually not better. It's more clean and clear if you use the enum name dot the value of the constant. So this was the first topic, and then the second topic will be how to document our programs. So before we go into the second topic, I have an example or two using enums that I would like us to do together, and then we talk about Javadoc. All right. So here we go. So let's start Eclipse. All right. So start a new project. We're going to do the card suit tester program, which is not in the book. So start file, new. So we're going to name it card suite or suit. What is the proper suit? Thanks, tester. I knew that. So that's our project. Yes, so that is going to give us a test of the suite of cards. Wait, did you say suite or suite?
Suite has an E on it.
Okay, thank you. All right. So in the package, we're going to add we're going to have an enum. So go ahead and right click on your source package, and then select, instead of a class or anything else, enum, and then it's going to be named suit. Yes. We're just starting from blank. So create a project, card suit tester, and then add inside the project an enum named suit, a class named card. We'll put them in the same package. And the class named main.
The main gets the main.
The main gets the main, that's right. So if you remember, click here, public static void main.
And a class of card, you said?
Card, a class of card, an enum of suit, and a class of main. So 2 classes and 1 enum. All right. Are we set up with the project structure? Okay, assuming that we are. So let's start with the suit. Okay, so what is the purpose of this program? We're going to simulate a suit of cards, and then from the main, we're going to print out a different combination of the numbers and then the suit, and it will give us an excuse to use an enum to express a suit of cards, which can be spades, clubs. So it has only 4 values, so it's a good candidate to use an enum for it. All right, so we have the enum, and then the values in the enum are going to be spades, clubs, hearts, and diamonds. And as you have noticed, the convention is to express the constants in the enum with capital Ks, right? All right, so let's create the suit of cards, the card class next. Okay, so first the instance variables. So I'm going to have a private. So the type is going to be the enumeration type suit, and a private int number.
You don't need to put the public static void. Should I delete it?
The public static void main is going to go in the main, so the main class will have that. And next we need to add the getter and setter methods, which is all that we're going to have here. And so you can just right click and use Eclipse to do it. So source, generate getters and setters for both. And here they are. Did you like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it too. You know, in this class, I always quote Bill Newman, so I don't think I've done it in this class, so now is the time. Bill Newman says a lazy programmer is a good programmer. Right?
can't make any typos out of it.
Is right.
No typos, and it's guaranteed in the right format, why not?
Once you start with the typo.
Yeah,
Unless you start with a typo.
right, but. I
Yeah,
mean,
no, absolutely. That's right. Okay, so then let's go in the main. So I guess before going to the main, just, we're modeling a card. So the card has a suit and a number, right? So that's a perfect, nice use of an object to model something. And then in the main, we're going to say the greeting is going to be welcome to the suit tester. Next, we're going to instantiate the card object. Does everyone know how to do this by now? I hope. So card is equal to a new card. Now, we didn't add a constructor in the card class. So what does that leave us then? So why didn't we add the constructor, and what does it mean? And was it okay? Remember, if you go back in the card class, there is no constructor added. What is the meaning?
Put the values in it.
But we didn't have one. So is this going to be a problem? Do you guys remember? What is, if we didn't add a constructor in the class, what does Java do? Here.
It automatically creates one for you, and you just don't see it.
It's not a problem because Java is going to create one for us, a default constructor. If you wanted to pass arguments to the constructor, then you'd have to add one. And you can add one anyway, but it will not be a problem that we did not add one. Okay, so now we're going to call the methods of the class. Card.set to set it to suit dot, and you can see now how it shows the values of the enumeration constants, and say spades, and then the card set number to 1. Oh, and then we're going to call a method display card, which we are about to type, and pass it the card. So it's not liking this because we haven't created it yet. So let's create a public static display card where we pass it a card. And then we're going to set up a little logic here. If card.getNumber is equal to 1, system out print ace. else if get number is equal to 11, system out print jack else if the number is equal to 12, print queen. If it's greater than 13, system out print question marks else let's see, what am I missing?
13 would be okay.
Oh, no, this is greater than 13
I know,
on
but you
purpose.
got Jack Queen, you forgot the king.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, so let me finish. So this is going to be to print hard.get number, and then is here. I need to have another else if here. Hard.get number is equal to 13. Okay.
Switch.
Which would have been better. I know.
Much smaller.
I know. Would have been
Not
better.
like much.
At the moment we started typing, but it is okay. And then system out print off braces on both sides. And if card.get is equal to spades, system out print spades, as if so this needs to be okay, I'm saying here. Sorry guys. So this needs to tell you the name of the enum. So it would be suit.space spades. Checking against the enum, and then we say spade, else hearts, diamonds. I misspelled diamonds. elements. And then system out print line. Let's see here, what is the problem? And also, what is the problem here? Let's see. I think I forgot clubs here, did I? Okay, clubs. So we need to add clubs to our logic. Oops. There you go. Okay. What is it not liking here? Insert to complete the method body. Oh. So we need to close the main here, that's the problem. And now it's telling us ace of spades. So this is a little program to show working with enumerations. I was getting an error because you need to close the main before the other method begins. So the main has to be closed and then you start the display card method. So go ahead and get this working. And then you can change the values and sure. Let's see, here we go. So we can make this program more interesting by maybe having a random number. And then, you want me to scroll up? In the main or in the?
That's still the main.
Oh, so do you want the? So do you two want the same or different? So you wanted the cards to.
You could check this first.
Okay, so finish this and then feel free to come up here. So what? How could we make this a little more interesting? Here.
Have a random number generator between 1 and 13.
And how about also another one between?
Between 1 and 4. For the, yeah.
Right. Why don't you guys do that?
Is there? It seems like there isn't a way to convert from. So you showed that you could go from an value to the ordinal.
Yes.
What about the other way around?
I think the main method does that.
Yeah. Getting from the ordinal. If you want to generate an enum
Right.
from 1 to 4, how'd you get the enum without having to get a whole switch or the bells?
Yeah, you have to use a switch because just the changing, it just goes back and forth, but it doesn't assign it. You still have to condition of the check.
You can't cast it.
I'd like you to try changing this code now. The way this was done in the main, we hard coded the values of the spades in one, and that's what we're seeing when you run the console, but I would like you to change it so that you now generate those numbers. I would like to generate the card number and the suit number using a random number generator. So take time to talk to sounds good. What is your friend's name? Not that him. Because somebody emailed me for recommendation and I don't think I want to let me know. Like the one. Yeah. I must I didn't know that. I'm making out that it needs to show up in class. So I can just see if it is. Are you clear what to work on?
Not really.
All right, so right now, this program, it gets the values for the suit and the number of cards, hard coding it right here, right? 14 coded space number, and yeah.
I found a way to do it.
Okay.
The enum
I'm not.
type, you method on it, and then you can just get it by index. So once you generate the number suit, you can just because it returns an array
Right.
of all the different values of the enum, you can just get it like that.
So it returns the numbers or the values?
All the
values in an array.
enum has
Okay.
a method called values that returns an array of all the values.
Okay, and then you can get it from the dictionary. Nice, very nice. So for now, line 13 and 14, hard-coded in the number, and I'd like you to change up the program. So instead of hard-coded, it uses a random number generator to generate those values. Feel free to work with your neighbor or with Kira and myself. So that when we see here the suit, it will give us different values. So take some time. We have done an assignment similar to this in class.
But that returns a double.
The same edition? Well, with the new one, I have to change it. I don't know. It depends if they come up with a new edition or not. Yeah. If they say they can, you can come and move it around. It's fine. I don't know what you want, but that's the way. That's what I would do. And the code is posted, by the way, in week 9 as well.
Oh, well, just copy and paste it. Bad. I do this at work all the time.
No, I like doing it too. It's very convenient.
That's the one good thing about
Almost.
technology. Yeah.
Right.
Does it also have to randomize the suit or just this?
Both.
Both?
Yeah, both.
Yeah.
right, I'm going to be asking for a volunteer. I'm going to be assigning a volunteer to this project, so. You're still living with Seattle?
Yeah. Well, no, I don't actually know. My parents live there. I live in Capitol Hill. They live right by Beach Drive.
Okay, I live behind Gateway.
Oh, I know.
Mormon. Yeah, yeah. I saw one there. Did anyone saw this?
Seems really simple.
This was all nonsense.
Okay,
I want to fix it. I mean, it's not hard, but at some point it might be.
right, oh, totally.
So I don't think we need to show a demo to the public. Maybe you can just, in a few minutes, maybe you can just tell what method to use basically. Break. And then do go over the Java features, and then I think you have last time for today.
Do you still want it?
Yeah, I guess you
Maybe.
And it's going to show the solution also.
I was gonna look at the solution. I just don't know how to do this. Suit.
You make a suit random also? Number.
Yes, you need to. You need to make both. Diana is about to show a solution.
I don't know. It's all right. Whatever. It's my homework. It's okay.
I actually only did the number, so I might be able to figure this out. That's the random number. I didn't actually do the suit as random, but I would assume
Use that +1 because that's what takes you.
this actual card.
Do you want to do the spade or you want the suit? Or?
Oh, I see. So that would basically just be like that too, right? Or no.
Up with the tougher scale. So you pick 12.
Yeah, so I guess I only did it halfway.
Oh, because you're 100.
So this will actually take a few more lines.
Yeah, I figured. So.
All right, thank you. So this was the.
And it includes the B12.
So who did anyone do the enough part so that we can just wrap up? Daniel, would you please add on? And then we'll take a break. So Diana added the code for the. You can add a little comment after here.
For that, you would have to, since it's inclusive, you'd have to use a 12
Yeah.
plus one.
So it goes from 0 to. So it's the last
Exclusive.
number is exclusive actually.
I just looked at the document.
It says right
Should be
here,
exclusive.
documentation says exclusive right here.
It should be exclusive.
Okay, okay.
PHP is inclusive, and that's now it is exclusive in Java.
Let's just. Okay, and then we want the suit number, so let's pick that. And up to. It doesn't.
So
Yeah. So I'm gonna do the other method, method. So if you get all the values of the suit, then you can just use the suit number as an index. Since it's zero, since next int will give you a number from 0 to 4, or sorry, from 0 to 3, and there are 4 values in the array. So length of 4, 0 to 3 are the indices for those values. This will give you the suit. Method.
So the shortcut, the hack here was that you found the method called values.
Other way. Clubs. No, wait,
But you want to turn them.
yes, suit number. Sure. Okay, then we got clubs, diamonds, hearts. So you can, either of these methods will work. We'll do the same thing.
So you can comment out one of them and let's test it out.
Yeah.
7 of hearts. And one more time.
Jack of
Jack of
diamonds.
diamonds.
King of
All right,
clubs.
seems to be working. Yay. All right, thank you guys. Thanks, Daniel and Diane. If you don't have any questions, then let's take a break and we can leave this up for you to, if you want to look it up, but 10-minute break and then resume. Excuse me.
The code is in the.
The code is in the modules minus the random update.
This is the first one you guys talked about.
Yes.
Okay. It might, so it's probably an error somewhere. Or, yeah, that's it. Just say that. There you go. So,
Yeah, this is on my program.
this is,
I think I was up an issue with the last one. I got a bunch of errors with overrides. Like every time I did an override for the last time, it would give me an error and say like not fine. And then I saved it and then I was like, oh my god. So I emailed Sandy about this, freaking out. Can't do this. You gotta save all of it.
All right, so let me show you the Javadoc, and then you can have lab time. Okay, so the next part of chapter 13 I'd like to talk about will be how to create your documentation. So there is a tool, the Javadoc, that generates comments. It allows you to essentially annotate your classes and it will generate HTML pages for your documentation, similar to the ones we have been looking at on the Oracle site for the Java APIs. So you can generate the same type of documentation for your own programs. And the way you do this would be you're going to annotate that you're starting your comment to be picked up by Javadoc with a slash and then 2 asterisks. And then you put your comment and you do the same for the objects, constructors, methods, and so on. So there is not much to it. I think the best way to learn about it is we're going to do the exercise at the end of the book that allows you to practice it hands-on. But the only other thing to point out, you can use HTML tags and also there are Javadoc specific tags you can use. And Eclipse makes it very easy to use. So for example, you could use any HTML tag, but the one you might more commonly use would be the code tag, which allows you to display, for example, codes or whatever you want to display is a monospace. And then the Javadoc is going to have author, version, params, and return, among other. So these are the most common ones that you can use. And you use the Eclipse IDE to generate those comments. And then it's going to put in, once it generates the comments, they all go in a doc subfolder on your computer. So that's all there is to it, but let's go ahead and do hands-on example since we haven't done this together in class just yet. So let's work with exercise 13-3. Work with API documentation. So you need to import the code. Chapter 13, EX3 line item from the starts, exercise starts.
Is that a night starts or solutions?
We want to start with the start so that we can do the solution ourselves, so you can learn how to do it. Okay? So exercise starts, and you want 13 EX3. After you import it, open the product class that's in the package, Murak business package, then view the Javadoc comments for this class. Note that the class contains Javadoc comments but don't include add param or return tags. It contains the author and version, but not the param and return. Open the line item and note that it includes a single Javadoc comment at the beginning. And again, the Javadoc begins with slash star asterisk asterisk. Are we good? Okay. Generate the API for the documentation and view the documentation, excuse me. Generate the documentation for the project. So we are on item 4 now. Then open the documentation in a browser by navigating to the doc folder for the project and opening the index.html file. So to generate the documentation, let's see here. So project, it might be from up here. I'm trying to find, I think it's in the project. Why is it not? Annotation.
Just click configure and navigate to Javadoc command.
Okay, my bad. So the project is up here on the horizontal menu. So click on the project and then click generate Javadoc. I was thinking it was on the, okay. In any case, so project, generate Javadoc. And you can select how many. So we just want the one with the line item.
And then just the line item.
Yeah, we just want the line item. Okay, so the problem is that Eclipse doesn't know where the command is located. This is why this is not working. So what we need to do is pinpoint it to the location on this machine. And this is going to be under, I'm going to look for it first, and then we need to point to it from the Eclipse. Does this make sense? Right. So we are in program files x86, I believe. Or program files, Java, JDK.
Regular program file.
Yeah, but I'm going to confirm. And we want the 121, I think. And then in the bin. Oops, not in the lib, in the bin. And we should have here Java doc, right? And we do. So what we need to do is we need to point Eclipse to this folder. It looks like it's in the JDK folder here. So, all right, so back to where we were. So right now it's telling us to find where the Javadoc is. So I'm going to say configure, and now that we know where it is, C program files Java JDK. Yeah, of course it's in the JDK. Okay, bin Javadoc, and then it will find the executable file, and then finish. Yes to all. And then it tells us that it's constructing the file, the HTML file. Would you like me to do this again, or did you get this to work?
It generated 4 index HTML, so it's saying to point to the index HTML.
So then we're going to go and look at HTML from the browser. You want me to do it again? Sure. All right. So this is, let's say we're working with a line item. Then you're going to go into project, generate Javadoc, but now it knows where the Javadoc is, right? So every quarter, these machines get reimaged and get swiped out. But right now, it's configured to know. You need to, if you don't have it pointing to the Javadoc, then you need to say configure, and then you need to navigate on your machine to program files. So let me magnify this here. Program files Java JDK bin, and then that's where you point your Eclipse, and then you should be able to generate it. So this was the first step of the exercise. And then open the documentation in a browser by navigating to the doc folder for the project and opening the index.html. Or you can open it in Eclipse by double-clicking on the index.html file. So I would rather navigate to the folder. So our project, let's see here. So you need to check, you need to know where your project is, so you can look under properties, and then it will tell you the location of your project.
It's also right there on the very last item now underneath the JRE system library.
Yeah, probably, right. So I don't know what you meant by there, but this
And,
usually.
okay, if you look in the packet, at the very bottom below JRE
Yeah,
system
you can,
library, it's inside there.
right, and so you can bring it from here as well.
Oh.
Correct. So you can bring it from here and look at it. But I was going to point it on the hard disk so we can look at it. So now you have a doc folder as part of your package, what Kira was pointing out. And we can look at it in Eclipse. What I was trying to do is to look at it from the hard disk and from the actual, to see it in the folders. Because, you know, Eclipse is essentially a layer on top of what we're about to look at. So mine is in C users, Meredith workspace 1. So find where your workspaces are saved, stored. C users, workspace 1. And then in chapter 13, we now have a doc folder created at 2:16 today. And if you open it, you see the generated HTML files. So I'm going to open the index.html, and there you have it, right? So this is your documentation with the same tool as the Java API. And it shows you the packages and everything else. Do we have any questions?
Mine
Kira?
doesn't have the same figures. So.
Well, what that means is that probably your source code didn't have the same, maybe you used a different file,
No, I'll get rid of this doc stuff.
right? Were you able to generate it, or should we pause for a moment? This is, okay, so let's take a look.
Weird.
Now Now, what is going to be included in the documentation, of course, will depend on the comments and annotations you made in your Java. But as it was already pre-populated with values. Okay? Yeah, Javadoc. Now you can say, now it will allow you to say finish. And then it will generate it. And yes, to allow it. And now you can see it from here. Or from the other summary. Anyone else?
No, but
Would you?
index. Because that's what she,
So what are you trying to do? You generate?
we should have it on a browser. I think we're supposed to find it on our.
So go and you right click on the project. So it's in this folder. And then here there should be logs for now you can open the index. Actually,
So I don't
here
even
we
have a
go.
phone somewhere.
The main index is the one in the root folder, so you want to go back to the next one.
Yeah, that's it.
Anyway, the point was that you clicked on an index inside of the subfolder, but the starting database is in the outside of the subfolder. Right? And then you can go.
I did something wrong because
Did you?
I think I did. So try again.
Okay. And then say finish.
No, is it all over or just the line?
Yeah, so I mean, it depends what you want, but right now we wanted to just click on the line item and this will generate all the subfolders, right? And then you can say finish.
So I did that and it gave me 100 errors instead of 7 lines.
Well, let's take a look at the errors. Let's see what it's like.
Say it again.
So it looks like you have errors in the project. And so that's, it's something you did in the project because when you open the starter code, it doesn't have errors. So I don't know why yours does. Maybe you can import it again.
I just opened it.
Well, something is off. So maybe we can look at the errors and figure it out. Let's see. Where is your error? Where are you seeing errors?
This one, that's a funny thing. It's not showing me, so this is the line item.
Do a save all.
Do a save all?
It's not allowing, so let's save. Well, so there is no error here. I mean, I'll go. You know, to be honest, I'll just delete it and import it again.
Just delete it.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. That's pretty faster. Because it shouldn't give you errors to begin with. All right, so let's see. So we looked at the documentation. And the next was to view the documentation for the product class. To do that, click on the Murak business package. And then click on the product class link down here, right? Note that it includes descriptions of its constructors and methods, right? View the details of get code and set code methods. To do that, click on the links for these methods. Note that these methods don't include information about the parameters and return values. So if I click on get code, you can see here, because we didn't add the annotations, we don't have parameters and return values. So if you wanted to have those, then you need to add param and add return, right? And so view the line item by clicking on the link for the line item class. Note that it doesn't include descriptions of its constructors and methods because the line item didn't have enough annotations added in it. And then you can improve the Javadoc comments. by modifying the Javadoc so that they include add param and return tags, wherever those tags are appropriate. It seems like I'm not sure if I feel like I'm working on this by myself because everybody is doing something else maybe. No? Exactly my work.
I have a clarification. So, those tags that we put down, yeah, or at, what you call it, that's able, you're able to add it to log, right? So, pop it there.
Going to generate?
Yes.
Yes, so it's based on those tags, it's going to generate the information. Exactly. And you can even add additional tags. All right, well then let's do this together, those of you who are working with me. So we're going to improve the Javadoc comments with steps 8 and 9. Just a second here, let me organize. So let's see. So the first one will be the product class. So open the product class. Modify the Javadoc comments for this class. So they include add param and return tags, whatever these tags are appropriate. And so they're going to be appropriate where we have methods where we want to know the params and the return type. Let's see here. So set code would be the first one. And we're going to add param code. Okay. So that's the HTML, call a string. Oops. For the product class, sorry, product code. And then the get code. Which one are we using here? At return a string for the product code. And then the description will be the same. So it takes parameters but doesn't return. So add param description. For the product description. And this one is going to add return a code string for the product description. And I'm not going to do the last two because it's the same. Does this make sense? Right? So I'm just adding a couple. Do you have questions? Yeah, I can scroll up. Do you have any questions to what we're doing here, or are you just, it's just a matter of writing it in, I hope, right? Right. So basically, if you want your documentation to have, if you want your documentation to include the return values and the parameters of the methods, then you have to go through each of them and then add params and return value. You may need to add both for a method depending on what it does. I only added a couple because it's a bit tedious. And then I'm going to now regenerate, and then let's take a look and see. Anyway,
There's a shortcut for generating all the boilerplate. all the-
probably. So yeah, we can do that. So it will be what, right click source, or what is it? Doc,
It's just
you know,
source generate.
generate. I'm sure there is.
There's just a shortcut.
See, maybe it's under refactor. Now it should be under source. I don't know off the top of my head, but
Find it.
here is also, we can search here. So generate Javadoc.
So if you hit the generate Javadoc comment, it gives you like the ad return.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. So anyway, Daniel, go ahead and find it. What I'll do is I'll just rerun it again from here for now. So generate Javadoc, we select the same, finish. And remember that when we is generating them, remember that you didn't have before the return values and params. So now if I refresh here my page and look at the product,
Get the name. An element comment.
element comment, okay.
Yeah, it's just in source.
Wait, where is it?
It's in the menu bar. In the edit menu bar. Or, sorry,
Edit.
source menu bar. Or in the right.
Format element? No. Generate element comment.
Yeah. So that'll add all the
Nice.
all the tags and all that as well.
You didn't do it though, but
Well, wherever the user point is, the caret. So if you scroll back up, it added to the constructor.
also you can only do one at a time. You can say do all. You should be, I bet you can, right?
Maybe you select multiple things, like putting the selection, but it's based off of where the caret is.
Thank you. So menu.
You should, source.
Yeah, it looks like it only does it one at a time.
Yeah.
So that's fine. So there we go. So this one returned. So let's say I'm going to just generate this here.
It's all the keyboard.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We now go back to doc. So index could be 2.5. That's so let's open it. With
I have a quick question.
yes.
Uh, documentation and the backslash documentation is that you could read this through HTML.
The which documentation?
This one, you could see it through HTML.
And which other documentation are you
The
referring to?
backslashing, the slashing,
Oh,
the double slashes.
the backslashing is the comments inside the program. They're not really the documentation for the programmer. And this is documentation that you can publish as an HTML.
For the users.
So if people don't have the source code, they can see the comments inside the code. But if you need to write and use this method, then you can look at the documentation. So if you write your own Java library, then you can include the documentation, and then people can know what they need to do. And so now that we added a few add return and add param, as you can see now, it's going to tell the get code is going to return a string for the product code, and the set description takes a parameter, a string, and so on. So that's the idea. Okay. So I think I'm going to leave it here with the Javadoc. So you've been you're now familiar with Javadocs and Enums, and maybe we can have a little bit of lab time for the remainder of the class. But before we do that, does anyone have any questions about anything? No? Did you guys hear that the Amazon servers are down and that's been impacting the college?
The what?
Yeah.
The Amazon servers on the East Coast.
Yeah, Canvas is down for about an hour yesterday.
Yeah. Even Amazon is fallible, apparently. You know people are going to get fired over this, right? Because that's Amazon. Heads will roll. So, anyway, last time. I'll be right with you.
So what is the usage